Hello, everyone. Welcome to Voyage Consulting and Business Solutions After Hours Ask the Expert series. I am here with my fellow experts. Again, my name is Mario Lewis. I'm here with Darlene Blanco, our CEO, Margarita Estrada, our COO. It is an absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you for joining us, no matter where you are in the country and the planet. It is just great to see you here. But first, I've always got to say, with Voyage, you have the opportunity to grow your business with Voyage. You have the opportunity to ignite your career with Voyage. All you have to do is start your Voyage today. So join us on Facebook, LinkedIn, our YouTube channel for value-added content, and follow us, please. Tonight we're going to talk a topic that we're going to talk much more about this year. It's going to be a part of our undeniable series about making ourselves memorable. And I believe no matter what you're looking to achieve, whether you're trying to extend and build on your leadership skills, talk about public speaking skills, it is critical, no matter what your craft, your talent, your vision for your life, it is important that you are memorable, that you create a following. So today we're gonna unpack a lot of key strategies for you to consider on your voyage to being memorable. I'd like to hand it over to Margarita to talk us through a few strategies and thoughts on how we can build on it, and we're going to continue to unpack that viewpoint. So, Margarita, off to you.
Thank you, Mario. I'm so excited about this topic. How many of you out there have spoken to someone, but they're not really paying attention? They're looking at their phone, they're looking at someone else, and yeah, and they're really not with you. So one of the key strategies is to be curious, to be genuinely curious about the person that you're talking to. Make sure that you ask for questions. And here's the important one: remember their name. You will be
Yep.
surprised. The most beautiful music in the world is when you remember a person's name. So I want to give you some tips as to how you can remember a person's name.
Mhm.
So when you're striking the conversation, mention their name 2 or 3 times within the conversation, such as, "So Mario, what brings you here?" Right? And then you keep talking about it and you keep mentioning the person's name. So this way it stays in your brain. Also, make sure that you can use multiple senses. For example, if you're shaking a person's hand, just to say, "Nice to meet you, Mario," and you are I'm shaking Mario's hand virtually. I'm looking at him, right? And this is the way, again, that you are using multiple senses of touch, sight, and sound. So this way it enables you to remember a person's name. Also, write down the person's name. Very important. After a meeting, if you have a very interesting conversation or things that you want to remember, not only write down what that person said, but write down the name. Because how many times we've all done it where we hear a quote, we write it down, but we don't write the person who delivered the quote. And you say, "Darn it," because next time that you deliver a speech, you could have used that quote if you only remembered the name. Hey, Darlene.
Oh, I love this. And this all gets into us always talking about how we're connecting with people. And I think that as we're thinking about being memorable is also how you're touching people, right? Understanding the impact that you're having on them during that time where they are in a conversation with you. Are you being attentive? Are you giving them that respect, to really hear them, listen? Are you engaging with them in a way that's really making them feel special? And when you're thinking about being memorable, I want people that I come into company with to say, "I remember Darlene. She shared XYZ with me. You know what? I felt really comfortable around her. I felt like she was someone I can share things with. I felt like I wanted to open up and maybe dive into broader, deeper conversations." So remember, being memorable is also about how you're making people feel. And I always think back to Maya Angelou, that famous quote we always hear about. It's how you make people feel. They're never going to forget that. And I say this a lot about first impressions. That means a lot to me. First impressions mean a lot to me. If I'm meeting you for the first time, I really don't want to, dive into, the why. I really just want to know, like, what's your person? Like, who are you? Are you authentic? Like, before we get into anything else, I want to be able to connect with you in that way so that it can be a very memorable experience that we can grow something or cultivate something with. And that we know, especially here at Voyage, that's super important. There's no nonsense. We have to make sure we're at the core of authenticity. So doubling down on that.
Absolutely. I love what you just said, Darlene. And just kind of building on Margarita's point. If you want to be viewed as the most interesting person, you have to be the person who's most interested in other people. So I
Mhm.
want to build on that. So like if you want to be the most memorable person, you should then remember other people. Because the traits that you want to be seen in yourselves, you have to demonstrate those first. So like being the person that you want to be around. And I think that just gravitates attention and attraction to yourself. So, like when you're saying, Margarita, be curious about people. When you're curious about people, people will feel that connection, and they'll be curious about you. But building on the points you're saying, another point that I thought was really insightful is that um, if you want to be memorable, especially as a speaker, it is critical to tell stories. I think storytelling is the best way to connect with people when whether you're speaking to an audience of one or 1,000. So you're able to talk a little bit about yourself and pull them into your message because it shows that we have commonalities upon which to build with other people. And being thoughtful and sharing about yourself allows people to be willing to share with you. So use stories to tell that connection. I can't tell you in how many venues, whether it be in work, school, in audiences, wherever, those are the best ways to make connection with people. So again, if you want to make yourself memorable, become a great storyteller and tell other people's stories for them. Going on to you, Margarita.
Sure. So I want to give people hints as to how they could compose their stories
Okay.
as they're communicating with people to make their experiences more engaging. So first you have to set the scene, where and when the story happened. And
Hmm.
then what was the obstacle that you were facing at the time, the conflict or the challenge of the story. Next is what did you actually do to solve the problem? And then you close it up with what did you learn from the experience and how did it make you change?
Hmm. All those factors are wonderful when it comes to great storytelling so that your stories and you will be memorable.
Yes, because there's always the hero and the villain, right?
Mhm.
So and the advisor, right? So the hero, of course, you are the hero, right? But the advisor is kind of like the Yoda, the one that helped you get you to the next level. So you have to think about the hero, the villain, the advisor. All of those components are excellent points that you use for your storytelling. So let's go on to the next point of being consistent and authentic. And this goes back to what Darlene was talking about when she spoke before about projecting a consistent and authentic persona rather than a me all the time. And sometimes when you hear people, oh, I'm this, I'm that, I did this, I did that, but they're not being authentic in the sense that, okay, what were your struggles? What were how did you get to be this person who you are right now? Right? Where are you? I call it like the 5 C's, right? Your competence, your confidence, your connection, your character, and your caring or your compassion, right? So all of those 5 C's, possibly six, is part of the component of who you are. So in other words, when you speak, not just talk about your accomplishments, but how you got there and your struggles, so that this way people can relate to you. Darlene?
I love that. I absolutely love that. And I think that that's the most authentic storytelling that you could actually do is people want to learn about you, right? What happened? What did you learn from this experience? What knowledge do you want to share to those? So that way, if they're in that situation, they can be on the lookout. I call them the banana peels. Don't slip and slide. I know exactly where they are. I use it a lot. But we want to make sure that everybody's learning from these experiences. You know, we're not everything is going to be smooth sailing all the way. And if we weren't clear about that, you know, because I think that people want to make sure that things are going to be a perfect, you know, it's a perfect journey. Not a perfect journey. There are lots of different things that are going to happen. You're going to have to deviate a little bit. And as we're learning about ourselves in the process, every time we learn and grow from an experience, that story is stellar because it's real lived proof folks can really relate to. They might be in that similar situation, they might know someone who's in that situation, and authenticity is key to making sure that you're going to be the best version of yourself that you're introducing to folks. Margarita, you said it earlier, you know, it's not about the me. And don't go into these things with sell, because that's not how it's going to work and it's not going to turn over because people are really looking, especially in this day and age where we're just behind screens and we have all this AI. I mean, people are looking for human connection. So let's double down on that and let's make sure that we are bringing our authentic selves to these conversations, that we are listening to what folks are sharing with us instead of trying to hurry to create the next story that we want to tell.
Yeah.
Understanding that listening is really key to having people become a part of us. If they don't feel like we're really, you know, giving them what they need in terms of like, oh, do you really want to hear what I have to say, or you want to just talk over me, right? Or just continue to just share or sell your, you know, what you're doing. So make yourself memorable to people in that way too. I impact people's lives every day. And every time I leave an exchange, I think to myself, I wonder how that person, you know, felt when they left my presence in that moment. And I
Mhm.
started thinking about this in every situation, like even like in my family life, even like those, oh, bye, I'm leaving, I'm heading out, you know, those like morning and I'm like, we need to really be human and remember that we are touching those lives around us. But before we go any deeper in, it
Yes.
is time for the official commercial break, and it is my turn to remind everyone become a Voyage Insider. Be a part of this mission and journey. We are here to help you cultivate your brands, develop, grow, learn, lead, and build those leaders around you. Thank you for following us, for continuing to be a part of our journey. We at Voyage want you to be starting your voyage today. Follow us on
Absolutely.
LinkedIn, follow us on Facebook, get up on that YouTube channel, give us those likes, subscribe. This is like the new thing we're going to be looping in there. Become a part of this. This is the inner circle. This is where it's at. We believe in you. We believe in the mission. We are true leaders here in this space, and we're talking about really sensitive and, you know, interesting conversations that you're really not going to get anywhere else. So thank you. I'm going to pass it back to my experts.
Sure. Thank you, Darlene. I really appreciate what you said about, because I agree with you about authentic leadership and authentic being your authentic self and bringing as much of it as you can to all of the environments where you are. And to raise your point you raise that we're behind screens so often. I think people are truly in looking for what is real, what is authentic, and knowing that they can be in environments where they can bring their authentic selves to. So I think it's important that leaders are able to create environments like that where people can bring that. And what does it mean to be authentic? Whether it be language or just even the use of emotions, bring it all because if that is you, that is you. So allow walking around with your emotions on your sleeves. That means laughing, smiling. Don't be afraid to show a little bit of vulnerability. On days that you're feeling amazing, tell people that you're feeling amazing and show that you're feeling amazing. But on days where you're having a challenging day, why be afraid to do it? You don't have to walk away and be somebody else because people need to see the various sides of you. And because if you're always the person who's always chipper and don't show that there are other days, people will never understand it and they won't know how to engage with you on days like that. I mean, of course, we're going to be in environments where we're respectful and honest, but don't be afraid to be who you are in the different places where you are, because that's how that vulnerability creates deeper connection. And I truly believe that is what people are looking for in every environment, and it allows them to be their authentic selves. So again, create the environment that you're looking for. Doesn't matter if you're the most senior person in the room, bring that type of environment, create it, and I believe people will know how to respond to somebody who's just being themselves because they'll follow suit as well. So I hand it to you, Margarita.
Let's get on to showcasing our superpowers, right? Because most of the time we showcase other people's superpowers, but what about showcasing our superpowers in a way that add values to others, right? So as we talk about our struggles, the difficulties that we encounter to get to where we are today, we have to think about, what is our superpowers? Is it creativity? Is it empathy towards others? Is it being an excellent writer or a speaker? And showcase those superpowers. Don't be afraid because there are other people that are looking up at you who are not where you are right now. And they'll say, well, if that person reach there, I can do that too. And they can ask that person, so how did you get there? And you can actually be a mentor to those people that are struggling to try to get to where you are. You see, most of the time, a lot of people that are in higher levels are afraid to be mentors because they're afraid that their job may be taken away, blah, blah, But anything you give is going to come back to you double. The more you give, the more you get. That's how it works. That is the cycle of life. Darlene?
I couldn't agree more. And mentorship is like my thing. You already know that. Mentorship is something that I double down on all the time. I believe that you should always make time to support people in their journeys. And mentorship is something that needs to exist better than what it does right now because we don't have enough of it. And we don't have enough of it in some
Great.
really serious pockets of populations that I work with. And I keep asking colleagues, hey, when was the last time you mentored someone? And it doesn't always need to be, a youngin, because we as leaders also need mentorship. We need guidance. So it's almost like having the ego and putting that ego aside, and saying, you know what, I actually can use some advice. I'm doing well, but I can be doing better. And so mentorship is for everyone. So it's for us all. I believe in it. I love it. I have mentors. I often serve as a mentor and I can speak way on experience. But you brought up something super interesting that I just wanted to give a quick chuckle on. If you ever feel like you're given too much and people are growing too fast and they might might reach up to where you are, right? You're like, oh my gosh, wait a second, what's going on here? Like I've overtrained them. Now they're like better than me. I'm gonna, remind everyone that as a leader, that's actually what the end plan is, right? You need to create those successors, those folks that are going to be able to drive mission forward. How can you lead and grow and, go on to bigger and more broader projects or things or take on new initiatives if there's someone who's not there to be able to do what you're doing so well? So never feel like, oh my gosh, if I teach and I have someone who's really great at this, I might lose my position here, or, what's going to happen. Don't be an information hoarder, be an information sharer, build an amazing team of folks that can do the work even better than you can. So this way you can actually, have that leadership exit of like, all right, I get to climb up and I get to bring in even more. I get to do even more and have greater impact. Leadership is about developing leaders, bringing on new people into the scene, having them learn, grow, develop. So never feel like you're going to be slated or something is going to happen. I believe and I've seen it all the time. If you can't develop, grow, and bring a team together and then build a newer team and you're how are you leading? Like that's just like what
Okay.
we're here to do. We're here to do. You want to take on more. It's all part of the mission. So keep developing that talent. Don't worry, their job is to be better than you. And your job is to keep your eye on vision, strategy, and making sure that that resilience is going to be there because expertise always shines through, and they will need you somewhere, no matter what. You're always gonna get the call like, hey, what do I do in this situation? So you're always still gonna be there, and they're always gonna acknowledge you anyway.
You raise a really good point, Darlene, that there are some leaders out there who are afraid of developing talent for that same reason, which is a shame, because it's the not the growth mindset of a true leader. A true leader is looking to plant seeds in many places and water and develop them to bring up the next generation, because the next generation is going to be even better. That's their jobs. I mean, that's what they're supposed to, especially if you've trained them well and they've learned. And I think that's about being authentic as well, because true authentic leadership, I think, just shines above it all. So. Wow, a very insightful point you brought, Darlene. Thank you for sharing that. Let me hand it to you, Margarita.
Yeah, I'll close it out
Yes, please.
because next week will be part 2. Thank you so much for joining us tonight at our After Hours Taxi Expert series. We are so excited to have you here from Eastern, Central Mountain, and not specific time. Remember to grow your business with Voyage, ignite your career with Voyage, and start your Voyage one today.
Hey.
Remember that the following Monday, this video will go to YouTube. So if you want to see it on Facebook, you have until Sunday. Monday, this video will be moved over to YouTube.
Okay.
Not everybody. Thank you for joining us, and see you next week. Bye now.